Welcome to Festpod, the unofficial download festival guide. I'm Neil Wilkinson. This is the place for news and rumours about the festival, advice for going, and your chance to get involved and ask your questions too. So now let's welcome my fellow hosts. First of all, we've got Lee Ellingham.
Good afternoon.
Hello, how are you doing?
Very well. Are you?
Well, yes. Well, we're all in lockdown now, aren't we?
We are indeed. Yeah, all in it now. All stuck inside. Wow.
Are you stocked up with toilet paper?
There's not been the massive panic round here as badly as it was last time.
Okay. Or people have still got a stockpile from the first lot of stockpile.
Probably, yeah.
Still wiping those asses.
Exactly.
And we've got Dave Kingdon down in Cornwall.
Howdy.
Howdy, I like that. So you're wearing a Stetson?
I don't know what that is.
A Stetson is a cowboy hat.
Oh, yeah.
Digging for oil.
Oversized cowboy hat.
Are you on a farm, Dave?
I am, yeah. So
have you got
secluded?
Have you got livestock on your farm?
Yes, we have sheep and cows.
Oh, how fantastic! You know, I don't know why I didn't know this about you. I love animals, you see, so I'm just fascinated by your sheep and your cows.
So aren't we all, by sounds of it?
I don't know what to say to that, to be honest.
Oh, no, I just love them. Anyway, find us on the socials by looking for Festpod, and you can even send us a voice message by going to anchor.fm/Festpod and clicking on message. Say hi, ask our advice about download, or just chime in with whatever you want. That's at anchor.fm/Festpod and just click on message. So let's get started with download news. There is some news. I don't know how we manage to find news all the time about download because it seems to be few and far between. But there is some news. We've got some bands that were announced, haven't we?
Yes, very exciting. 17 bands were added to the lineup.
17?
17. The biggest names in that, for anyone who was a massive thrash metal fan in the 80s, would love to know that Megadeth have been added to the lineup.
Wow.
They'll be headlining the second stage on the Friday, which I was really confused by that booking, or especially the booking on that day and that time, considering you've got Kiss headlining the main stage, potentially having a massive clash. I can't be the only one that thinks that's a little bit odd.
Yeah, they're both sort of classic. I mean, they're not the same kind of music. They're not, it's not exactly the same genre, but they're still sort of classic artists, aren't they?
Yeah, you can stick them in one bracket of classic metal or classic rock, but yeah, they are different genres from that sort of classic era. I still think it's a little bit weird, though. Obviously, bands from that era on the same, potentially on at the same time.
Which one will you be going to see, Dave? Will you be going for Megadeth, or will you be going for Kiss?
I'd like to see a bit of both, actually. I think Kiss are like a lot older than Megadeth, so you will get the sort of slightly older generation. And this is apparently their final tour, isn't it? So.
Oh God, yeah.
You'll probably get
every tour's the final tour, though, isn't it? Really?
Well, yeah. But,
didn't we see the last tour of
Aerosmith?
Oh yeah, Aerosmith and Ozzy as well. Black Sabbath, not Ozzy, because Ozzy was still touring. Is Ozzy still touring, or is he finished now?
He's meant to be touring again in 2022, I think. But whether that happens or not is nothing.
Yeah.
But no,
So,
I mean, but Dave Mustaine as far as I know, has recovered from his. I think he had, was it throat cancer or something?
Yeah, throat cancer.
Last year or the year before. So.
Wow.
So it's good that they're able to get back on the stage again and do what they do best.
Yeah, I mean, even as I'm not a fan of Megadeth, it's still very good to see and very good to hear that he has recovered and he can still put on a show on for those people that do like them and have followed them for 30 years now.
I prefer them to Slayer, but I probably get lots of people angry at that statement. But
do you know what? I'm with you, Dave, all the way. Megadeth over Slayer.
Yep, I agree. So you're not alone on that.
100%. So we've got another. So there's quite a few bands actually, and they're quite spread out as well. They're not just on one particular stage. They're all over, aren't they?
Yeah. So I've got the lineup, the 17 added bands in front of me now. You got North Lane, who've been put onto the Sunday on the main stage.
North Lane.
They opened up in 2017 on the Friday. They were really, really good.
They're really good.
Another band that have opened up the main stage, which I'm not sure whereabouts they've been put. Let me just check my little book. They are
little book of facts.
My little book. They are on the Avalanche stage on the Sunday, Boston Manor, but they've opened up the main stage before a couple of years ago. One band that I'm incredibly looking forward to seeing is Venom Prism.
Venom Prism.
Extreme death metal sort of band. They are playing the 4th stage on the Saturday.
The Dogtooth stage?
That's the one. They've made that stage bigger, which I think was necessary after last year when we had Ginger and 12 Foot Ninja in there that, again, people couldn't get in to see them. So they was announced last year, this year, February, they're expanding the size of the stage, which is necessary. However, having said that, I'm a little bit concerned with the health and safety people. They've got bands on that Dogtooth stage on the Saturday that are going to just bring the house down. And I'm not saying that figuratively. I'm saying that literally. You've got a prog band in Temple on Mars. You've got Dead Label, Lotus Eater, Venom Prison, Bleed From Within, who I have seen before. Dying Fetus, Obituary, who are even more extreme metal, death metal than it's the most extreme death metal I've ever heard. And then you've got Sepultura headlining that stage on the Saturday. All those bands, I'm not just saying this figuratively, literally, they're going to bring the house down.
I spend most of my time in the Dogtooth stage. I have to say that most of the bands that are on the Dogtooth stage are. That's my jam, as people say.
I love it because it's again you've got a lot of these bands are not starting out as such, but starting out in sort of the commercial sort of side of our alternative scene, and these are the smaller bands that they only have half an hour on stage, but every band plays a half an hour of absolute insaneness, if that's even a word.
I think Royal Blood got their first gig, their first paid gig in that stage, and look at them now.
Yeah, well, I mean, they'd be one band I'd love to see actually on the main stage at Download sometime. But I don't know whether they'd be more suited to Reading now. So there's a lot of other bands that have been put up. I think most of them are on the Avalanche stage throughout the weekend. Because a lot of them are sort of pop punky sort of bands. One band that was in the main headline on the Download page was The Descendants. I sort of thought I'll give them a listen. So I never heard of them before, which is the best thing about Download sometimes is when you find bands that you don't know. They are sort of what I would call almost a pogo punk band. If you imagine the whole dance move, the pogo in. And that's all I can imagine when I listen to them.
Do you pogo, Dave?
I don't know, but they're a good band though. I've not checked them out fully, but they're sort of same era as like Bad Religion, sort of like early or late 70s kind of punk rock, isn't it?
So that's what I sort of meant. So that sort of era and punk and pogo and all that sort of jazz.
I can imagine they've probably put on a good live show.
Yeah.
I think I might have to go and have a look at them.
So they are playing the Avalanche stage on the Sunday. They're headlining. So there's a potential clash with System of a Down. Potentially not. Depends on, obviously, the timings, which we won't know until about probably the day before.
Who is it that insisted on no clashes?
Guns N' Roses.
It was Guns N' Roses in 2018. I think there have been times that bands haven't clashed with the main stage headliner, which I think it should happen. That's cool. I'm not too bothered by that. But 2018, they demanded a 3.5 hour set that didn't clash with anyone, and then the 2018 day, you had obviously every other band sort of had to condense their sets so they wouldn't be clashing with Guns N' Roses, who wanted the hundreds of thousands of people's full attention on them.
Ego much?
I know.
I mean, you can hardly miss them, can you? Really, Guns N' Roses. I tell you what, though, I've spotted that Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes are back on the lineup, which makes me so happy.
They were one of the first ones to get re-announced. And yeah, I'm with you. They were one of the bands or one of the groups that I really wanted to see and was hoping for they'd be back. And yeah, that's probably the most, with them and potentially Sleep Token and Wargasm, those three bands alone are probably going to be my Friday. Because for me, the Friday is looking pretty thin.
Really?
I hate to admit it. Yeah, the Friday this time round is looking. I mean, 1, 2. Sorry, just counting the bands I actually know I want to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the whole of the Friday.
Wow, that's not many.
Really, no, it's not, and that's really that's unusual for me because I usually try and squeeze in about almost 8 bands a day.
Yeah. What about you, Dave? Who are you most looking forward to on this year's lineup?
Definitely Sleep Token, because I missed them the last time they played. I think it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I missed them too.
And I did want to see them in that year, but I think they were clashing with someone who I obviously wanted to see more. And Gojira.
Yes, Gojira.
Yeah.
Very, very happy about that.
Yeah. Funeral for a Friend, they were actually the first band I ever went to see in concert.
No way.
Yeah, when I was like 14, I think.
Oh, wow.
And obviously I'm glad they've had the chance to play again after obviously cancelling this year.
So there was an interview with Andy Coppin just after the last announcement. Did you hear him say that this potentially is the last time that Funeral for a Friend will play with their current lead singer?
I didn't hear that, no.
Yeah, if the interview is still live on YouTube, go and have a look. Apparently, yeah, it's potentially the last time that he will play with the band. Interesting.
Do we know why or not?
Andy Coppin didn't go into much detail. He just mentioned in the way that he does this is it's potentially the last time that he will play with them.
There is also one band that's disappeared from the poster, which is Hatari.
Do you know what? I'm so gutted because I'm not a massive Eurovision fan, and I mentioned it to my fiance, who is, that they were playing. And she's going, "Oh my God, what day are they playing on?" And I told her, I might have to come. And I thought, for one band, okay, it's that serious. But then I gave them a listen, and I wasn't expecting much, but it's a proper like sort of industrial techno mad fest. I mean, I tried looking for some videos on Eurovision, and yeah, it would have been an insane show. Despite being quite early on in the day, it would have been quite insane to have that sort of music on mid-afternoon, potentially pissing with rain.
Did they enter Eurovision? Did they?
They did. They're from Iceland.
I bet they're brilliant then.
Yeah. If you can find them, Hatari, Hatari. I think.
Hatari.
Hatari.
Thank you, teacher.
Wow. Oh, and they've dropped out.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah, I had a list. Obviously, we posted on the Instagram of the acts that have all dropped out, and obviously the bands that have come in. Hatari were one of the ones that obviously I was guided about to find that they dropped out now. But another band that dropped out from the Saturday was they were on the Dogtooth stage on the Saturday, Chelsea Grin, which again, like I said, health and safety, they would have been the worst thing for it as well, because they're one of those really sort of heavy hardcore metalcore sort of bands that again put on an amazing show.
Oh my God, I'm so in the mood for Download now. I really want to just be there.
Yeah, I am. Do you know what? And it sucks that it's still another like 7-8 months to go.
Oh my God. It's great news that they've made that tent bigger though, because it gets pretty crowded in there, especially with some of the bands that they have on in the Dogtooth stage. Definitely, it's so long time coming.
So last year, this is Dave's fault. We left 12 Foot Ninja when they finished to go and have a whiz. Well, I didn't need to go.
Better over here needed to relieve himself.
I didn't need to go, but I thought, you know what? No. We want to see the band. Well, I'll go with him. We left the tent, and not only about 5-10 minutes later did we go back, and we couldn't get back in the tent.
I hate that.
From the minute that because 12 Foot Ninja, apparently their crowd was outside the tent as it was anyway. So the minute that we left to the minute we came back, the tent had refilled, and we could barely. I mean, I could just see the lead singer in all her glory, and could only just hear, because obviously we were outside. We were quite far back. So yeah, to make the tent bigger, it's actually going to mean obviously we're going to get in there and we'll be able to see it.
Yeah, absolutely, and it makes sheltering from the rain easier as well, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, because no doubt. Well, I mean, 2018, it didn't rain the whole weekend, but it's more than likely going to rain.
Well, it's Download, isn't it? So you expect a few drops of rain.
Exactly.
Now, System of a Down are headlining the main stage on the Sunday, and I understand there's a little bit of news.
They have 2 new tracks. After 15 years, they released new music. Have you given them a listen at all, either of you?
I haven't.
Yeah, I gave them a listen yesterday. They're all right.
Yeah, I mean, the opening riff of, I believe it's Protect the Land, was very System of a Down, very traditional towards their old sound. And the only thing I can say to it in any positive light is that it's System of a Down. Like you said, it's all right. They're okay. But I mean, they're very. A lot of people are raving about it, and I don't know whether it's the raving because it's been 15 years since they released the last tracks, or because they do genuinely like them. I'm neither here nor there.
I think I'm with you on that. I'm okay. I can watch them and enjoy it, but I don't think I wouldn't go and pay for an album or something.
No, I'll tell you what, I was really let down in 2017 because I'd never seen them before, and obviously listened to all the tracks and all the albums before going, because there's not that many of them, so it was easily done. And I was expecting really big things. But when they came out, it was a very sort of, to me, and I don't like being negative generally, but the show seemed pretty half-assed. Now, Serge had vocal issues. I think he was ill, so he cracked on as well as he could. So benefit the doubt. But there just didn't seem to be the sort of emphasis and excitement that you've seen on the videos on like YouTube. So the 2017 show was pretty disappointing. But hopefully, because we're all going to be incredibly excited to be actually getting out and doing stuff next year.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they're going to be a bit more enthusiastic on stage.
Sunday is looking like quite a good day to me. I mean, obviously you've got, before System of a Down on the Sunday, you've got Korn.
Oh, yes. I haven't seen Korn since, and did I see Korn? I think it was with Limp Bizkit in 2018, which was an amazing show. But obviously they brought an album out back end of last year, which they still need to promote in this country. So there's going to be a lot of new stuff in their set, I hope. We've also got Volbeat playing before them.
Yeah,
I love Volbeat. Again, that's one of this. Me and my fiance, that's one of our bands that we both think we both really like. So that's good to see. I'm going to get to see them play again.
Ailstorm is going to be an absolute riot on the Sunday.
Do you know what? I saw them at Bloodstock a couple of years ago, and it was absolutely insane. It's probably one of the best shows I've ever seen, just purely because it's just pure fun, and it's daft, it's silliness.
For anyone who hasn't seen Ailstorm, how would you describe Ailstorm?
Oh Christ! What can you say? What can you say? Do you know what? I think I described it as best I could just then. It's daft, it's silly, it's pirates, it's madness. It's just absolutely insane. You're going to have, even if you don't like that sort of almost cheesiness and silliness in your metal music, this is going to be so much fun. When I saw them at Bloodstock, everyone had inflatables, obviously to do with the seaside and pirates and stuff like that. Everyone that day was actually all in Hawaiian shirts for Cannibal Corpse. Side tangent, obviously, in Ace Ventura, when Nature Calls, the first Ace Ventura film, he goes to a Cannibal Corpse gig in his Hawaiian shirt. and this added to the atmosphere for the Ailstorm, who played before them. I had a tutu on and a whole pink Hawaiian shirt.
I don't remember that.
This was a Bloodstock.
Oh, Bloodstock, okay.
Yeah, there's a video of me actually crowd surfing. You can just see me. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's so much fun. The fact that on the main stage as well, it's going to be even bigger and even better.
Dave, you're a fan of Ailstorm, aren't you?
Yeah, I've seen them a couple of times, just doing their sort of headline shows. And I saw them on the second stage a few years ago, but it'll be good to see them on the main stage because they usually have a giant inflatable rubber duck as their backdrop. That'd be quite good to see on the big stage.
No, unfortunately, I read. I think it might have been a couple of months ago now. I read that they're not doing the inflatable duck thing anymore.
Did it burst?
No, they had lots of it. They sent one out actually at the show at Bloodstock. They actually threw it into the crowd. It's hilarious.
Oh, right.
I don't know why. I mean, you might have to look this up and clarify for yourself. I'm sure I read somewhere that they've stopped doing the whole inflatable duck thing, which is really gutting because it looks brilliant.
Dave, did you describe them as pirate metal?
Yeah, that's putting it very broadly, I guess.
Pirate metal. Are there any other pirate metal bands, or is that the only one?
There are.
They were definitely the first, or
no. I wouldn't say that.
To do that, like very niche stuff that they do. Similar bands. I wouldn't say they're the first, but there is a Finnish band called Korplikani. They're quite piratey and it's more folk, I'd say,
in their own Finnish way.
Yeah, I mean, but they both bands sing about drinking and just generally having a good time. So
and being
drinking,
pirates.
pillaging.
Yeah. It's all that, isn't it? When you listen to it on Spotify or whatever, they really stick to the theme, don't they?
Oh yeah. I mean, you've only got a little. Oh fuck me! There's one song, "Fucked with an Anchor." I mean, how much more pirate could you get?
I'd forgotten that one. Yeah, they're so much fun. The audience, they really get in on the audience participation. They're so good. You've got to see them. That's Sunday on the main stage. Also, The Darkness are on, and Steel Panther are on the second stage. Now, they're always fun as well. Different kind of fun. They're not pirate metal, but they're sort of... How would you describe that? I mean, it's fun, but in a different way to System of a Down or Kiss. They're their own sort of brand of fun, aren't they?
So, they just don't take themselves seriously. I think I've always looked at Steel Panther as a bit of a parody band anyway, because I mean, the way they dress and the way they do their makeup and stuff, it just reminds me of Motley Crue from obviously in the 80s.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking they're a bit of a parody band, and the way they talk is very it would have been accepted in the 70s and the 80s, the way they talk about women, the way they talk about drinking and stuff like that. And I can't help but think they're a parody band, and they are very funny. I remember seeing them a couple of years ago, and they got all the women up on stage.
Oh yeah,
Which I thought that was absolutely brilliant. I thought that was because obviously those sort of bands, that's what they love to do. They love to drink, they love the women, they love their drugs, drink and all sorts. And I just thought, yeah, that looks really cool.
I was a little bit worried about the stage collapsing, to be honest, with that many people on it.
There was hundreds of them, wasn't there?
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. But what a sight. And it's the sort of thing you don't see every day. You don't see it every gig.
Yeah, I mean, they did, if I remember correctly, they did complain that there wasn't enough boobs being shown. Again, something that happens at a Motley Crue show. When Motley Crue play Girls, you'll have women in the crowd.
Yeah.
Just getting the boobs out. If I remember correctly, there was an incident in the early 10s, let's call it, where a young girl, I believe she was 15 or 16, she was on someone's shoulders and she got her boobs out. And her dad complained, and then from then on, the bands are not allowed to ask, or they're not allowed to encourage that behaviour.
Wow. So they're not going to ask for you to get your boobs out, Dave, but if you do, they are not even allowed to acknowledge it.
No.
That's a shame.
Because you were planning it, I know. We haven't really touched on Saturday very much, apart from Deftones, Gojira, Funeral for a Friend. There's a number of bands across the weekend that we're all looking forward to. But what day are you looking to be running around the most?
I'd say Saturday for me.
Yeah, I think for me as well, it's going to be Saturday or Sunday. Saturday, I can see myself spending a lot of time in the Dogtooth stage until Gojira play. Then I'm going to probably end up going, depending on obviously the timings, because at the minute, Clash Finder, whoever's made that Clash Finder, thank you.
For anyone who doesn't know, what is Clash Finder? So
Clash Finder, basically, it's I mean, it sounds so obvious when I say it's your Clash Finder. So so you can make your own. Basically, it lists all the bands that are on there, what times they're playing, and what stage they're on.
Is it a website or an app?
Yes, it's a website. If you just Google Clash Finder, you'll be able to find Google Clash Finder Download Festival, and it should bring you up with this year's lineup. And it pretty much just shows you who is going to be playing and when they're going to be playing, and who they will potentially be clashing with. And for the Saturday, it looks like Gojira could potentially be clashing with Venom Prison, which I'll be very upset if it does happen. But I always look at Clash Finder before we go. Dave and I discuss it at length. Clash, who we want to see, and we keep an eye on it almost throughout the year to make sure that nothing changes.
See, Dave, you've talked about seeing half of a set of somebody and then going off to see somebody else's half a set and then going to see. I can't compute that really. I like to see the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I try not to as much as I can. I'd love to try and see a whole, if if I'm interested in a
Well, we
band,
all want
I
to see a
try and
whole
see
bit.
that whole. Yeah.
Very well played, sir. Very well played.
But sometimes if there's a couple of bands that I'm not sort of
You're half-arsed
can't
about
wait.
them.
Well, yeah, like I'm not too fussed either way, but I don't want to just sit around doing nothing. So I might just check out a bit of both, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, if you're half bothered about seeing a band, it's better to go and see them than just to sit in the campsite, sat in your tent half asleep, isn't it?
Yeah, but then there are definitely some bands where I'm like 100% seeing all of their set, and I don't really care about the bands either side of them. But then that's the great thing about Clash Finder is you can obviously maybe not right now because it's not 100% official with set times yet, but once that they've been released, it's such a good resource to
plan.
Yeah, like months or weeks before you can see like where you want to go, and then it just saves the hassle, at least for me, to have to be like, oh, where am I meant to be now? I can just like look at Clash Finder and go, oh,
when do we get those times? Do you know?
It's normally maybe like a couple of weeks before.
Oh, right, so it's really late then.
Yeah, I mean, it's normally at least June before they release the 100% set in stone times. But again, this year is completely different, isn't it? So who knows? So
you've only got a couple of weeks before download happens to plan your entire weekend.
Yeah, but I mean, at least that's the good thing about people doing the Clash Finders now is that at least you can get a rough idea, and you can be like, oh, those two bands might clash, so I'll just keep an eye on them or something.
Yeah, I have a confession. I've already planned mine. I've almost got my weekend planned already.
But you've not got the times though.
No, I would say so. The times are on the website is based on the year before, because they do roughly have the same. It roughly has the same pattern. Obviously, you've got the fourth stage is usually half an hour sets all the way up until later on in the evening until you get like the final like 2 or 3 bands. The main stage, the times that every band that comes on, their times are extended by about 10 minutes every time. So the first band on will be half an hour, the second band 40 minutes, 40, then 45. 50, and then I think the third from top's band, which for example would be Volby on the Sunday, they get an hour, and then the second band will get an hour and a quarter, and then the headliner get between an hour and a half and 2 hours, most likely 2 hours.
Wow, you really have studied this, haven't you?
Oh, I've been doing it again. I think it was 2017 when I started doing this seriously because it was the first time I went on my own without my fiance. And I thought, right, I've got all this freedom and all the time of the week and now to plan exactly who I want to see without obviously having to take into consideration somebody else and what they want to see.
Yeah, you can be completely selfish and just go and...
Exactly. I mean, you laugh at me and it makes me sound really bad.
But your fiance isn't there, so you don't have to worry about her.
Yeah, well, I mean, luckily... Yeah, well, luckily, when we do go, because we still go to Bloodstock with each other every year. Luckily, because our music tastes are very, very, very similar, there's never usually any arguments about it. So, but the one year that I went on my own, I thought, right, this is totally all about me and what I want to do. So this is cool. So I can see whoever I want. Because I mean, I went and saw Suicide Silence, which I know for a fact that she wouldn't want to have seen. So, I mean, yeah, I love going to the shows with her, absolutely. But when I'm on my own, obviously, then I've got more freedom to go and just choose who I want to see.
So, in other news, day tickets are now available. You can purchase a ticket to go for one particular day as opposed to the whole weekend or camping. And you can even get those day tickets on installment plans for the first time. Yeah,
this is something very new. Like you say, for the first time, they've never done this with day tickets before. I think maybe they're trying to encourage people to use the instalment plans. There's not so much pressure to obviously to chuck almost up to £100 just for the day. At the moment, obviously, of all of us being in lockdown, people on furlough, etc., etc. The one thing I find strange about it, though, is day tickets being released so early. I know we've got almost 80 to 90% of the lineup announced, but even then, the day tickets don't usually get released until springtime of that same year.
Yeah.
Which then begs the question, why? But I mean, if the lineup's pretty much announced, then yeah, but I suppose why not?
Have other festivals got their day tickets out?
The big festivals, like Reading, Leeds, they do their day tickets almost the day they announce their first headliners. I know they've got their day tickets out already, and they've only announced about 30 to 40 bands.
So it isn't. It's a download that's unusual and leaving it so late for day tickets.
Compared to the other big festivals, yeah, the download is sort of that the different sort of I mean, our day tickets don't usually come until like March, April time when they know they've got pretty much the lineup all there, and that's the only explanation I can think of is why they've done it so early this time. It's a good thing. It gets. I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, you've got almost the full lineups in front of you, so you can pick which day you want to do already.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who day tickets are for, really. I mean, for me, download is a whole week. It's a whole experience. It's the camping. It's the fun. It's the going to around the arena to all the different stages and spending each day doing that and getting drunk and just enjoying yourself for the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who do you think it is that buys day tickets, Dave?
Well, I think day tickets are a great idea because obviously some people don't want to see all of the bands that are on other days, and there's obviously a big price difference as well. So
yeah,
it's good that you don't have to spend like hundreds of pounds if there's just one or two bands you wanted to see. And sometimes the headliners that are doing like tours around Europe, this may be their only show of in the UK. So
that's a good point, actually. So if I was a massive fan of System of a Down and I wanted to see their only date in the UK, which happened to be at Download, I could just buy a day ticket and go and see them.
Exactly.
That's a fair point. That's absolutely a fair point. I can't think of any bands who are on the list that I would want to do that for, though, because they're all all got their own. I don't follow any of them. I think even if it was Royal Blood. Do you know what? If I change festival and think of Reading and Leeds, I may buy a day ticket to go and see Royal Blood because I'm not interested in going to see people like Eminem, or just any of the other people that they have on their lineup.
You know what? It's funny you mentioned that because I did the year that Eminem headlined. I did debate getting a day ticket, but then that's because they had Korn on as well. On the same day. So I mean, that would have been again two birds, one stone. But that again, like Dave said, that would have been the perfect day ticket for me because again, it's got a couple of bands on in just one day that I know I want to see. So yeah, I mean, he raises a really good point. Yeah, if you've only got one or two bands that are on one day, you think, right, well, I don't really want to waste my time on the Friday and a Sunday when there's nothing on there that I want to see. But just for example, say for using Download as an example, but on the Saturday I've got Gojira, I've got Deftones, I've got Biffy Clyro, three of my favourite bands on the same day. There you go. Yeah, it's for the fans of maybe one or two bands that are only on that day, and then just think that I don't want to spend up to £300 for the whole weekend.
I mean, I'm just looking at the Leeds Festival lineup poster.
Mm-hmm.
So on the main stage on the Friday, they've got Queens of the Stone Age, who I would definitely be interested in seeing.
Same.
See, my thing is, I wouldn't want to have to sit through a load of other stuff that I didn't want to see, like Liam Gallagher.
Yeah.
I've no interest. No offense, Liam. I'm just, it's not my cup of tea. That's all. And I wouldn't want to sit through a 1.5 hour set of Liam Gallagher to wait for Queens of the Stone Age.
Mm-hmm.
You've also got Stormzy on the Saturday, and you got to respect what he's doing as an artist, but he's not somebody that I would go and buy a ticket for. But
I totally agree.
I would like to see Catfish and the Bottlemen.
Never heard of them.
No, fair enough. Absolutely. So it works both ways, doesn't it? Really. Oh, the Wombats are on. They've got the Wombats. I love the Wombats.
There you go.
Yeah, the Sunday on the main stage west.
Well, hang on. Now, Neil, it sounds as if you want to get a ticket for Leeds first, by the sounds of it, because there's a few bands you just mentioned that. All like them.
No, there's too much that I'm not interested in.
Yeah, and I think again that's like when we go back to the day tickets. I think that's the case for. Like I said, for Friday in particular on download for me, I've only mentioned about 5 bands, 6 that are pushed that I would want to see on that day, compared to say like 9 or 10 that I usually would. But yeah, you're going to have those people, like you say, there's not enough for the whole weekend that's going to make them want to buy a weekend ticket, but there is enough for a day ticket.
How much is a day ticket, do you know?
A download?
Yeah.
It ranges, again, depending on the artist. I think the most expensive one I've ever seen was when Guns N' Roses played, shockingly.
Yeah, I bet it was.
£95.
Wow.
But then on the either side of those days, the Friday and the Sunday of that year dropped to about 85.
So you've potentially got a lot for your money. If you, if you want, you could go and see as many bands as you could on that day for 80, 90 quid. But if you're only there to see one band, that's a very expensive ticket.
But the thing is, though, let's use Guns N' Roses as an example. They've played stadium shows in this country where their standard ticket fee is about £90.
Yeah,
it was the same for Metallica at Twickenham and the Etihad Stadium in Manchester. Yeah. I know Iron Maiden have got their Legacy of the Beast tour coming up the next year or the year after. That's why they're not doing download. Those tickets are going to be up that end of the spectrum, I suppose.
Dave, would you pay for that up your end?
Now.
Sorry. Do you want to rephrase that?
No.
I will.
Yeah.
Dave, is that a price that you would pay to go and see a band like Iron Maiden?
Well, I actually went to Twickenham to see Metallica, so I can't really say no.
And how much was that?
I think it was about 95.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
Who is supporting them? Do you remember?
Ghost. So I killed 2 birds with one stone, seeing...
You love Ghost, don't you?
Yeah, I kind of almost went to see Ghost more than Metallica, but I've never seen Metallica before, so it was obviously one off the bucket list.
And was it a good gig?
Yeah, it was actually, yeah. But again, you just have to weigh out how much you'd pay for a band. Like, if you're not into Metallica, then you probably wouldn't pay nearly £100 to see them. But
yeah, I get that. I mean, again, if say Korn were to ever get to that size of like Metallica are now, and they put their prices up to £90 to be in a stadium, oh yeah, you can guarantee I'd be buying tickets for it. I mean, if they're my favourite band, they're in a huge stadium, £90 for, again, a 2.5 hour show. Yeah, that's worth the money to me.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on the act, doesn't it? I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, if they're your favourite band, I mean, I can't think of an excuse as to why not.
Well, they are available day tickets on the instalment plan. So if that benefits you, then you can find that all on the Download Festival website. Now then, the coronavirus national lockdown, which we are currently in. Yes. So are we thinking that come June, when we should be downloading, that things will be okay again?
I'd like to hope so.
Or will we have lockdown 3?
I am grateful that we are into another lockdown where we potentially, again, can fingers crossed, get a hold of this virus, get a vaccine sorted, get testing done.
Dave, you're in lockdown in Cornwall, and there's hardly any coronavirus in Cornwall, is there?
No, thankfully. But like they said on the news when they announced the lockdown, that if we carried on as we were going, then the sort of curve would be what's the word?
No idea.
What's the word? What's the word I'm thinking of?
It's in your head, mate. It's not. We don't know. The curve has
Talk about
peaked.
a curve.
I don't
The
know.
bell curve. Is it peaked?
Are you talking about your bell curve, Dave?
Yeah. Let me try that again. I'm thinking of the word. What is it?
So we're all scientists and cunning linguists on this podcast. I tell you.
Not more exponential. It's
Sorry, I'm just thinking of bell curve.
Oh God. I'll just try again. I'll try and say something different.
Oh, what a bell curve. Okay, so basically, in Cornwall, if you hadn't have locked yourself away with your cows and your chickens, not chickens, sheep, then things might have been a little bit worse than they otherwise would have been. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, because I mean, down here in Cornwall, we haven't had many or as many cases,
No.
But the hospitals, like, if it carries on as it was going, then
Well, yeah, you'd be buggered because you haven't got any bloody hospitals down there.
yeah, we've got like one main one, and that's about it.
So you would have been
Yeah.
buggered.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. I mean, obviously nobody wants illness, and we want it all to go away before the festival season starts again. So that is the download news, and next we'll get some advice about going to download in the guide. In this section, we'll try and answer questions about what it's like to go to Download Festival, things that we recommend and things to avoid. This week, extras. Aside from just having the standard camping experience, you can buy extra add-ons to make your stay at Download more special. Lee, I know you're a fan of extras, aren't you?
Oh, big time. If I'm in general camping, what they introduced for 2020 was the refresh retreat. The refresh retreat.
Refresh retreat. Let's all say it together. Refresh retreat.
Retreat. So you pay a fee. I think for the full package, it was £65. So I think it was £65. But within that, you get your own locker, you get your shower pass, you get access into a little area where you can blow dry your hair, and then straighten your hair and do whatever to make yourself look pretty for the day.
A little blow area.
A little blow area.
Yep.
You're terrible. You are fucking hell.
Sorry, I'm in that kind of mood today.
That's fine.
So you get your, but I mean, there are showers, aren't there? There are already showers that anybody can use, but these showers that are in the refresh retreat. In what way are they different?
So these are private cubicles. So you can go. You'll see. You're in your own little private little box too. They're hot showers as well, which is always a plus.
So you're not showing your willy to everybody. It's private.
You're not flashing you're not flashing your bits to everyone. And it's a bit more obviously down depending on how comfortable you are in the cattle grids, as I call them, cattle grid showers. It's more of a private shower.
Yeah, so you've got your little cubicle for a blow, and you've got your shower cubicle, and you get a locker.
You do, and you also get access to proper flushing toilets. I cannot stress this enough. Dave will not agree with me because he's happy to do the normal portaloos, which is fine. If you don't want to do the posh toilets, then go for a portaloo. That's absolutely fine. But after doing the VIP experience at Bloodstock Festival and having to use a flushing porcelain toilet, it is such a better feeling and better experience of taking a poo on at the festival.
You prefer to poo on porcelain?
I prefer to poo on porcelain.
Not plastic.
There's a lot of alliteration in this podcast today.
Yes,
I love it. I love it.
Dave, are you not bothered about the plastic toilets?
Porcelain.
No, not in recent years. They've done a very good job of keeping on top of them. And if you time it right, if you can kind of get up early enough just after they've cleaned them, then you've got nothing to worry about. But they obviously do get messy very quickly. But
that's an understatement. Messy is probably the nicest way to put it.
So the toilets that you pay for, do they not get messy at all?
So they've got cleaners there, and they get cleaned regularly throughout the day to make sure they are pristine and clean all day.
So when you go in, are they perfumed?
It definitely smells better. I don't know whether it's actually perfumed, but it's definitely aired a lot better.
Is there dreamy music playing when you enter?
I tell you what, that would make the experience 100 times better. It's a good experience already, but with that sort of music, like if you go to a spa and you've got that sort of music that's trying to relaxes you and calms you down, that'd be brilliant.
Well, you're paying for it. I don't know why they don't do it, to be honest. I would expect that, to be honest. But the only thing is, when you pay for this special toilet, there's only one place where it is. They're not dotted around all over the place, are they? So you've got
So this is probably one of the biggest negatives for me about the Refresh Retreat, the posh toilets and the private showers is there's only one set around the campsites. Unfortunately, if you buy them, you're going to have to camp yourself as close to them as possible.
They're usually in the middle of the village, are they?
Yeah, so the plan was, from the video that was released in February, the plan is to have them almost in the centre of the village, so they are easily accessible from everyone that needs them and wants to use them. But they are going to have 2 sets of free showers in, I believe, on either side of the campsites for both the bigger camps. That's
good. I hate queuing to shower. I hate it.
If you get there early enough, I tell you what, the queue moves pretty fast. I mean, if you're there at about, I think on average they open about 7 o'clock in the morning, and if you manage to get yourself in the queue, despite how big it is, say 7 o'clock, you will get in there quite quickly. It's if you've had a hard one the night before, but I know exactly what you're going to say. If you've had a heavy night of drinking.
Yes.
If you had a heavy night of drinking and you end up having a bit of a lie-in, then yeah, the later you leave it and the longer the queue is, the longer it's going to take you to get in there.
I'm not getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning just to get in the showers.
I don't blame you. I mean, I'm from the jobs from the work that I do as a job. I'm wired to wake up at 6 in the morning. I mean, I'm supposed to be on my voluntary holiday, and I've been up at about 7 o'clock every morning since I've been off. And it's just the way that I'm wired.
Well, that's it. To me, it is a holiday. It's very often the only time away that year that I'll get, and so I don't want to wake up at work time. Do you know what I mean, Dave? What do you do? Do you go in the? What do you do then? If you don't pay for any extras, let's say, what are you up early with all the birds?
I do. I normally get showers.
Oh, you do get the shower?
Yeah. Because you can get certain things separate. You don't have to buy
Refresh
the whole package. Yeah, you can get like just showers or just the toilets or just the lockers.
Okay.
So I normally get a couple of things, but the toilets have never. I've never had a problem with them, but I just wanted the the luxury of a hot shower.
A nice private hot shower. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think in previous years, I have got up at about, or got into the queue at about 8 o'clock, and I think a couple of days, especially probably on the Saturdays, has been the worst. But even then, you're still, you're queuing for like half an hour, 40 minutes, which might seem like a lot, but then, you're ready for the rest of the day then.
I'm quite grumpy when I wake up, and so I'm in no mood to queue.
If you're by yourself, whatever, you just take your headphones or something. Because
in the shower.
The cubicles in the showers have like a little off area, or somewhere to put your clean clothes and stuff. So.
Oh no! You said you take your headphones in the shower.
No, I mean in the queue for the shower.
Oh right. I was going to say, music in the shower, that's nice. Might ruin your headphones, but...
So you can get... There are packages for all of these extras, but you can get them separately. So you've got a nice... What do they call this toilet one? There's a special name for it, isn't there?
So it used to be the seat of luxury, but that's what the Refresh Retreat has now put them all... has put everything together. So the loos... Oh. The toilets, access to their special area, and so that's all put into I think that's like the gold package, and then obviously it whittles down. Silver package, I believe you pick two out of the whole lot.
So you can't get them separately anymore. That's it.
You can get them separately. You absolutely can.
Okay.
But when they say you do like the silver package. You basically pick two. Any of the two, you pay a standard fee for choose two of them. So it could be like Dave does. He uses the lockers and the showers. You pay. I can't remember the prices now, but it is on their website.
Okay, so you can choose to pay more to have a special nice toilet. You can have a lovely shower that's private. You've got your blowy area, like you said. And then you've got lockers.
Fucking hell, what do you call it?
Lockers?
No, before that.
The area for your... your blowy area. What did you...
For fuck's sake.
Your blowy area for your drying your hair.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah,
so you have your little cupboard to have a blowy. And then you've got your what's this? Oh, the guest area. You can pay more to get into the guest area, which I guess is the thing off the arena.
That's right. Okay, so we're going away from the extras in the campsite. The guest area, which is the extra for the arena. I think we've touched on this before. It's basically a sort of a cut-off area of the arena. It's got a few different things in there that you wouldn't get from the main arena. You pay a little bit extra to use it if you're not doing RIP.
Because it comes standard with RIP.
It does. Lucky us.
Like
So,
all the
Dave-
rest of these, a lot of these nice extras you'll get without having to pay extra because you've already paid it in your RIP ticket. But we shall
Indeed.
discuss. We'll talk about RIP another time. That's not for today.
We will.
Now you can also. There's a viewing area. Now I think this is a new thing where you pay more and you get a better view of the main stage. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's going to be on stage right, I believe. It's a platformed area by the sound tower that's going to give you a better view of the stage. Imagine, if you will, the wheelchair platform.
Yes.
Closer to the stage, obviously to get a better view. I'm in two minds about this. I think it's a good idea. If you want to pay that little bit extra, I say little bit. I think it's about £100 extra.
Yeah, it won't be a little bit. It'll be quite expensive.
Yeah, to get a better view, to enjoy it that much more. That's fine. But then, I mean, the idea of it, if you don't pay for it, I mean, not that anyone's going to stand directly behind it anyway, because that would just be ridiculous. But you take out a lot of the field there that obviously would be used for people that, again, that could see regularly and not stuck behind a platform.
I would also say that if you're on that platform, you're more of a target for bottles of piss.
I've not seen a bottle of piss thrown at a festival yet. I think this is some sort of rumor or some sort of myth that people made up.
Oh, come on! You've never
honestly,
seen it.
No, I must be. Do you know what? I've jinxed it now. I'm going to get covered in piss next year, aren't I?
I think every year that I've been to download, I mean, it's not a bottle; it's a cup, it's a pint of piss that gets thrown. You must have seen this, Dave.
No, I've thrown a few, but I've never.
No, you dirty bugger! No, you haven't.
I haven't really.
I was going to say, you wrong.
No, I've never actually seen. I've seen like bottles and cups and stuff being thrown, but they've normally had beer in, which I've never understood. It's like, why would you spend £5 on a pint and then throw it?
Well, when you stood in that, when you're in that big crowd of thousands of people, and let's say you're watching Korn and you don't want to go to the toilet because you'll miss them, but you need to go.
I've got the perfect example for what you're talking about, actually, and it actually involves Korn. So in 2016, I saw Korn they're on the main stage, about to open up for Rammstein, and there's a group of people in front of me and the fiance, and I can hear them chatting away, and one of them's gone, "Oh, I really need the toilet," and I thought, we're so close to the front. Says, "You're buggered. You're gonna have to wait out this entire show and not go for a wee." No, she was under a poncho. She's managed to crouch down and pee there and then right in front of us.
Oh my god!
Do you know what? I have to admit, I was quite impressed.
So what? So let's say you've done that, and then you have this pint pot of piss. Now, do you want to stand next to that for the rest of Korn, or do you want to dispense with it? Do you want to get rid of it? You want to sort of, you don't want to potentially stand in it. So you get hold of it and you lob it. I don't do this, by the way, but this is what happens. This must be what it is. People who just don't want to go to the toilet and want to get rid of the piss and then throw it. I've been very close to being drenched by piss.
I'll tell you what, if it's raining, why can't you just put the pint down and just kick it over, and then it just gets into the mud anyway? No need to give anyone a golden shower.
You'd have to ask them. It's not something I do. But anyway, I don't know how we got onto this. Oh, because of the viewing area.
That's it. Yeah,
you'd be a target for those flying pint pots of piss.
or at least a flying empty bottle.
Now, you can also, as extras, get a Charge Candy portable charger. Now, this isn't really something we've talked about before, but it is a vital piece of equipment to bring with you. If you're even vaguely modern and you have a smartphone, of course you do, then you'll want to charge it. You'll want to bring it with you to download and charge it and use it every day. Now, you can get these little I don't know how big they are really, but there's not very big. They're little sort of blocks, the little chargers that, and they'll last you for a charge, and then when it's dispensed, you go and return it and get another one, which is a great idea because you can have one the whole time. They've changed these in the last few years though, because you used to get one where you charge it, then you go to the little stand and get another one, and then you could do that as much as you wanted. Then they changed it to you get one new one per day. Now, I don't know about you, but I need more than one charge per day when I'm at download.
This is why I take my own. I take my own stuff to charge my phone, because I know that, again, one charge is never enough. Because I mean, if you're using your phone for texting, trying to find your mates all day, or you're taking videos or photos, your battery's going to drain, regardless of how good your phone is. And having just one for a charge, and then having to get a new one in the morning, it might not be sufficient for the day. That's why, like you said, the old method they had was just good. If it ran out, you can go and get a new one, and then you can charge up again if need be. So yeah, I'm not sure the new method is practical for those of us that, again, like to use our phones while we're at the show.
That's not something you use, is it, Dave?
Well, the first couple of years I used the I think it was called Charge Candy at the time, and it was amazing because you just I think they shut the shops in the evening, so you had to go before the arena closed. But just like as you're walking out of the arena, you just go to the shop again and get a fresh a charged battery.
Yeah.
But in the last couple of years, I've just gone on to Amazon and got like a decent battery pack for like 20-25 quid. And I think last year I took 2 of them and I didn't even use up one. I never had to charge it. So I think it is a good idea. I'm not sure if they've changed the rules again for this year or next year, sorry, in what you can do. But because I think every year it's been slightly different.
Yeah, but, I don't know if it's a different company as well. It seems to be a different company. I
think every year has been slightly different. But I mean, I still got the ones from the first couple of years.
I have.
Because at the end of the festival, you get to keep one that you can then use at home. But
that's it. You put a deposit down on it, don't you? And if you don't return it, you pay for it basically.
Yeah, but I think it is a good idea. But you can also get similar, if not better, ones on Amazon for half the price.
Well, exactly. Yeah, and in the lockers, you can actually charge your portable charger up, can't you?
Yeah. So in the lockers, they've got I think it's just one USB connection.
Mm-hmm.
I think one year they had the sort of the car cigarette lighter ones. But nowadays it's all just the USB ones.
Yeah. Which is ideal. It's a great idea to put that in there. And you really should get a locker when you go to download, especially if you're camping.
Even just to put your car keys in or something, just so you know they're safe.
Exactly. You don't want to sit in your tent with hundreds of pounds and all your valuables inside a piece of zippable canvas, because
actually every year there's quite a good piece of advice, I guess. I've always had a bum bag that I've put under my shirt. So it's just one of those ones that you clip on, and I put my my ID in there, my money, just anything that I don't want to lose. And I carry a small bag sometimes as well, but just knowing you've got that like under your shirt, so no one can really see it, no one can take it off you, or you'd notice it if they did.
Yeah.
It's just rather than having stuff in your pockets that might fall out or something.
Yeah, absolutely. You find these little these ways that work for you, don't you? So after the charges, we have an option to turn up at download, and everything is set up for you. Your tent is there, your bed is there, etc. Ready to rock is an option for you. Now, some people go for this because they don't like to bring a tent. They don't like to bring all the bits and bobs from the car to the campsites. And I suppose it's an easier way of doing things. It's not the cheapest way of doing things, though.
No, so I mean, I've worked. I actually did sort of a side by side to work out what was better value for money in regards to the RIP, where you can park next to your tent. So obviously that's one major benefit already. You haven't got to travel miles and miles and miles to pitch your tent. So the comparison I did basically, yeah, you might have the pitch tent, your bed, like you said, everything ready and waiting for you. But when you put it side by side with price wise, the RIP, in all honesty, I believe you might as well just pay that little bit extra and just do RIP and get the full benefits of the VIP treatment. But then, like I say, it's down to personal preference. You might want to be closer to the village. It could be less hassle for you just to basically take a bag full of food and beer for the weekend instead of obviously carrying tents and et cetera, et cetera.
But then when you look at it, a tent, if you're carrying a tent, the tents fold up quite small. I don't think that's the major thing when you're going from the car to the campsite. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think the tent is the least of your concerns because it folds up so small. I think the biggest thing is usually beer, and then you've got your clothes and other bits and bobs like chairs and stuff. I think a tent is incidental myself, because I'm looking at the ready to rock options here. You've got the option of a 2-person tent, which, let's be honest, that's a 1-person tent because you've got room for you and your shit, rather than 2 people and 2 people's shit. You've got 4-person tent, a 6-person tent, or an 8-person tent. The range from a 2-person tent at £200 each.
That's on top of your ticket price as well.
And then
it's not.
Yeah. And then you can go to an 8-person tent and sleep bundle for £920. No, so £928 each. Which, I can't justify that. There must be people who can, though.
No, again, like you say, it's all down to personal preference. I mean, so someone has figured out that they would prefer to do it that way, then fair play, all the more to them. It's not coming out of my pocket. So I mean, yeah, I'm with you. I don't see too much logic in it in comparison to the full VIP package. But then again, man, it's down to personal preference. There is a benefit with the ready to rock. Where, I mean, you almost get the VIP treatment where you get the showers, lockers, and posh toilets within that package. I suppose that is a major benefit with doing it like that as well. I mean, you could literally rock up with fuck all apart from your clothes, like we've said, and crack on that way.
I mean, this isn't something that this has never appealed to me, so I haven't ever looked into it particularly. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't spend the money. I think if you're looking for luxury, you want to go with the full RIP. That's my opinion. Obviously, this may suit you, but this is the thing. I think you downloaded just thinking, well, we want to provide as many options as possible to get people who want to come and do it the way they want to do it. And if that's what they want, we'll put that option there for them and we'll sell it to them at an inflated price. They just want to. They just want you there with your money and happy. They'll however it takes. That's what they'll do for you. That's what I think.
I think you're pretty much nail on there.
So then, of course, you've got the extras of a car park pass or motorbike pass, because, of course, not everybody is going to drive to download. They are extras. And what is it, like 20 quid, something like that?
It's £20 before. If you were to pre-book it, it's about £20, and £1 of that does go towards a in quotations here, because I don't know the official name for it, is lower your carbon footprint sort of charity.
Oh.
So I think that's brilliant. But if you buy it on the day, it's about £25.
I think you're right there, actually. And a camper van pass as well, if you want to turn up and go into the camper van area, which is usually behind the main stage. And it's on a big hill, actually. So I'm not sure if I would quite fancy that.
I bet the view's pretty good. For if you're sitting there mid-afternoon and you're waiting for the headline act, you don't want to be walking around the main arena all day. I bet there's a nice little views as the side stage and all the stalls and the hill.
Yeah, absolutely. It's close to everything. You haven't got that big long walk, so that's good. And I think it's a little community. I went in there once, and it's a little community of camper van owners. So if you're in that community, you can buy a pass and take your camper van. So we've learned loads there. There's loads of extras that you can add on. But if we've missed any, inevitably you can get in touch with us. You can give us your viewpoints, tell us what we've missed, or ask us any questions by sending us a voice message. Go to anchor.fm/festpod and click on message. Send us a voice message and we'll get you on the show. Tell us your do's and don'ts. Tell us about something we've missed, or just give us your opinion on what we've spoken about today. That's at anchor.fm/festpod and just click on message. Next up, we'll look back on some of our memories of Download in the Legend. In this section, we'll look back on some of our memories of downloads gone by. Now, this is from when Aerosmith were headlining, and I just thought to myself, do you know what? These are rock gods I have never seen. They are legendary, Aerosmith, and I would love to be as close as possible to them. So I, for the first time, really, at the main stage, pushed my way to the front. Nicely, not horribly, and was at the front watching Aerosmith, and it was amazing. It's the first time, I think, that I've ever been at the front of the crowd for a gig, and I mean, it wasn't as I wasn't being jostled around in the same way that I would be if Slipknot were on, because they're an older band. Most of their fans are not young, and so most of the people at the front weren't, they were enjoying themselves. They were dancing about, but they weren't sort of elbowing me in the face, and that's fine. I think that's good as an introduction to being at the front of a crowd for a headliner. So I really enjoyed that, and I've got some fantastic footage of them close up, which is nice. It's always nice to take a couple of videos. Although some people get really... I did notice whilst I was there, some people getting quite annoyed that I had taken videos. For some reason...
There's something with the older generation that don't understand. I mean, part of me gets it, because you don't want to have someone with their phone in your face whilst you're trying to enjoy the band and you can't see anything because someone's got their phone waving about. I get that. But then I had to explain this to someone. I said, okay, fine, but I want to be able to remember this show. I want to take some pictures. I want to make sure that I get my favorite song on video, so I've got memory for me. And I think that's important. Because you're only human. You're not going to remember every single little detail of every show you've ever seen. If you can,
had a drink.
Exactly. So you're not going to remember everything. But imagine for your own records, not just for YouTube, not just for your Instagram, just imagine for your own records, you've got, for example, I'm going to use Korn as an example. A few years ago, Slipknot came out on stage with them, and they played a Beastie Boys. They played "Sabotage" by the Beastie Boys,
oh, wow.
and it was the only show at Wembley. Sorry, it was the only show of that tour at Wembley that they did that at. I didn't get any footage. I left my phone in my pocket. Luckily, there is a video of it on YouTube, but it's not always going to be that way. And I can imagine when you're watching Aerosmith and you've got, for example, Dude Looks Like a Lady comes on, and you think, oh, favorite track, I want to get that, and you've got that footage for yourself.
Yeah,
I see no problem with that.
it really means something, especially if it's your favorite band and you've never seen them before. You know, I don't think you need to justify yourself to people around you who may have seen them before, who may not have seen them before, who object to you using your phone. Come on, it's the 21st century, and people are going to use the phone to take videos and pictures and stuff. It's just the way it is, and if you don't like it, that's your problem. That's my view.
I honestly agree with you. Again, I've had the discussion with older people to say that I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it for my own records. I'm not doing it I'm not doing it for the likes. I'm not doing it for what you think I'm doing it for. I'm not trying to be a pain in your ass by having my camera out. It's for me. It's got nothing to do with you. Yeah. It's for my records.
Dave, do you ever take any pictures or take videos or anything?
Yeah, I try to limit it, obviously, but you know, you got to get a couple of pictures, just like as Lee said, as a memento or a memory, and then I just generally try and get like maybe a couple of video clips from like my favorite songs or
absolutely
stuff like that.
If I take videos, I've got, you know, I'll take no more than a minute of video.
Yeah,
because I know that my hand up, showing my bright phone screen is potentially annoying. I know that. I'm not stupid. So I'll limit it to 60 seconds. And if anybody's got a problem with me doing that for 60 seconds, then tough, basically.
Luckily, actually, the closer you are to the front, the less obstruction you are, because if your camera's still below the stage level, then it's like the level of the performer's feet. Yeah. So that it won't actually affect the viewing of people behind you. But if you're somewhere in the middle, it might start to get like in the way. But exactly. I think the best thing to do is to just, take a couple of pictures and videos, but just try not to be a dick about it and get in everyone's way. And people who live stream the whole show.
Oh no, that's not on.
That's the other end of the spectrum, isn't it?
Yeah. Dave, what's your memory of Download?
Well, mine isn't actually anything to do with the bands as such. It was just, I think it was maybe the Thursday of in the village, and they always have the cinema tent just playing like rock related films. Things like Bill and Ted and Wayne's World and stuff like that.
And Star Wars as well, actually. But anyway, go on.
Oh yeah, they do play some other random things, but yeah, it was just we just went in there and watched The Pick of Destiny by Tenacious D.
How was that?
It was just good. Like, I've seen it before, but that everyone was just singing along to the songs and just generally enjoying themselves, like having a drink, whatever. It's just a good vibe, good experience.
Watching films at Download is something else, isn't it?
And
it is a really good
first 2 days. Yeah, on the first 2 days, like, you obviously don't have to worry too much about the music side of it, because there's no one playing apart from maybe in the takeover tents, but you can just walk around the village and see all the sights and sounds of that. And the cinema is a good place to just put your feet up for 5 minutes or whatever, or put your feet up for an hour and a half if you're watching the whole film.
Yeah, and get involved with all of the shouting at the screen. Yeah,
and like obviously it's a very like rock metal film, so everyone was singing along and just having a good laugh with it.
Fantastic. I'm interested to find out what you don't tend to find out what the films are before you go. You only find out once you're there. So I'm interested to find out what'll be on next time.
I'm gonna guess Bill and Ted, just because.
Oh yeah.
They've released the new one this year, haven't they? So.
That's true. It's probably going to be available for download by then, isn't it? Available for download. Do you see? Do you get it?
I get it. It's available to download.
Lee, what's your memory of download?
What's the shortest gig that either of you have ever seen? If you can, yeah, the shortest show. God, tongue twisters today.
For me, it's the one you're about to say.
Yeah, Dave knows.
I don't know. I can't even think what the shortest gig I've been to was.
So we touched on it earlier about 12 Foot Ninja, obviously, and there's a massive crowd not being able to get into the tent. But what made it worse, and again, this isn't the band's fault at all, they had a half an hour set, but they were 15 minutes late due to technical difficulties. And it was a pain in the ass because they were one of the bands I was really looking forward to see because they're proper like upbeat, funky, proggy rock metal sort of. They got tons of genres into this one band, and I was really looking forward to seeing them. And I've looked at my watch and I thought to myself, they're not going to have much time. The whole thing's going to have to be cancelled, surely. At that point, they all walked out on stage. And in his Aussie accent, please excuse me for this accent, I'm going to give it a go. No, I'm not. I can't do this now. I've put myself on too much pressure.
Go on.
This is going to be the shortest fucking show ever, mate. And a 15-minute set. He said it was unfortunate, and these things happen. It's shit. We're sorry, but that's the way it goes. And I managed to get a video of them coming out and explaining themselves. But then, literally, without any warning, after explaining what's going on, they went straight to the first song, which is called "Coming for You." And the whole place erupted. I've got footage of it. Dodgy footage because I'm being knocked about at the same time. But the whole place erupted. People jumping about, singing along. It was the best set. It was one of the best sets I've ever seen. But it was one of the shortest sets I've ever seen as well. Unfortunately, these things at download can happen. I think the same year it happened down the Avalanche stage of one of the pop punk shows. I'm not quite sure who it was. And I've seen people complaining about it when they've come out. And it's like, this isn't the fault of the acts. This sort of thing happens. And we need to, people need to realize that yes, we've paid all this money to go and see them play, but at the end of the day, mistakes happen. Technical difficulties happen all the time. So, my memory basically is it was the best and shortest gig I've ever seen.
12 Foot Ninja. What a great name for a band. Wow. So that's all we've got time for today. We're going to see you on our socials. Just look for Festpod. And don't forget to send us a voice message by going to anchor.fm/Festpod and clicking on message. Tell us what download means to you. Ask our advice about going, or give us your memories of going to download. That's at anchor.fm/Festpod and just click on message. So that's it. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
A Wilco Productions podcast. Your blowy area.